What up, Bulls Nation? We've got live CHGO Bulls postgame coming up right around the corner. The Bulls fall to the Cavs tonight. 128-122 is the final. Tough way to go out when you could have gotten a split against two quality division opponents in this back-to-back. We will break down what happened in the loss next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls postgame. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. CHGO Bulls postgame is presented by Michelob Ultra and Bet365. The delicious taste of victory deserves something equally superior. Cheer on your team with Michelob Ultra. And download the Bet365 app. Use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bow. BAWL Sports. Back in the saddle. Will go Gottlieb perfectly coiffed. Will_Gottlieb. And rocking with us tonight, let's see if I break the TV. Sean Anderson under control. Sean.
I'm getting my bearings.
Was that applause for yourself?
No, I was more just, I clicked the first thing. I don't like silence.
I see.
And, I already forgot the intro video. So, I kind of feel like I have two strikes.
Sean's crushing it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for hanging out with us on a Saturday night, Bulls Nation. Unfortunately, not talking about a dub tonight. Bulls fall 128-122. They fall to 6-3 on the year. Their first back-to-back losses of the year. Mm-hmm. And it's just really unfortunate. Anthony in the chat just said choke job. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. Back to reality, he says. So we mid again, says Easy Land. Look, I'm not going to overreact to this loss, although I would say it's a more frustrating loss than last night.
Yeah.
Giannis just proved that he's playing at his MVP caliber level last night, and the Bulls couldn't really stop it. Tonight, it's like you had a 19-point lead.
Yeah.
You should be able to close a game when you have a 19-point lead. We saw the opposite. The Bulls pulled off the miracle 24-point comeback against the Sixers earlier this week.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like a lifetime ago now.
Yeah.
But, they built that lead by getting to the free throw line and shooting the lights out from behind the arc while the Cavs were struggling to shoot, anything in the first half. Mm-hmm. But execution down the stretch. Execution down the stretch. The Bulls were relying on their bench heavily tonight, and credit to them. We can talk about that in more detail a little bit later on, but the Cavs made their possessions count down the stretch, and the Bulls just came up a little short. If that really strong drive that Giddey had late, if he makes that layup instead of missing it, Trey Jones had a couple of looks that didn't quite go down. Maybe we're talking about a different outcome tonight, but man, Donovan Mitchell was a killer. DeAndre Hunter was a killer.
Murderer.
Evan Mobley was a killer.
Monster.
This is a good Cavs team. The Bulls just let go of the rope.
Yeah. I think what sums it up is all your starters were in the minus and everybody on your bench was in the plus. Because the bench played their asses off. They did a great job tonight. They're the reason the Bulls had that lead. They got in that game. But I wish I could feel, I'm not happy with the loss. It's not that I'm overjoyed with the loss. No, I don't want to lose ever, but I don't feel like, this is, back to reality. Oh man, we're the worst again. Oh jeez.
They're still 6-3.
6-3, bro. I'm 6-3 and I lost to the Cavs. But you're right. It's a game they had. A game they had right there in their hands, and it kind of slipped through their hands, and it would definitely eat at them for sure. And listen, they had it going from all the ways, from the myriad of ways you're supposed to win a basketball game. Like I was saying, your bench was playing well. Your three-point shooting was awesome. Your free throw shooting the attempts were spectacular from the free throw line for the Chicago Bulls. So you had all that going for you. They even got into the bonus very early in that fourth quarter. I believe with like 9 minutes and some change left, they were in the bonus, man. Like, it was very early in the fourth that they got into that. But they just couldn't make it stick. And you knew Cleveland was going to make a run. As soon as they came out in the third, I knew Donovan Mitchell was about to go Donovan Mitchell. That's what he does. Like, he scores, he averages the most points of any opposing player against the Chicago Bulls. This is Donovan Mitchell, man. Y'all remember the 73 points? It's what he does. Like, he's excellent at basketball. I don't know if y'all know that, but he's really good at basketball. And I wasn't really just like, oh, man, Donovan's not going to come out here and do his thing. What surprised me the most was probably DeAndre Hunter and the way that he played, because he was on it from the beginning. Like, as soon as the game kicked off, he scored about 5 of their first 7, and he just did not stop after that. Like, it was smooth, it was silky, it was on point for them, and they needed all of his points to be in this game. But Donovan Mitchell did what Donovan Mitchell does, what stars do for that team. They go and they close the game, they go and they win the basketball game. But the Bulls had that opportunity, and I think that's what just stings so much with Bulls fans, and I definitely feel you on that. So many players in double figures. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures for the Bulls? Trey Jones with 17, you got Giddey with 15, Okoro leads you with 19.
And you had 4 off the bench in double figures.
Yes, correct. And that's why I was going. Jalen Smith, man, with the 18 and 11. I want to get into him a little bit later, and even Lee was scoring early. You know what I mean? And then Patrick showed up in the fourth quarter, and I was like, dang. But Ayo Dosunmu, again, proving just his value, to the team. I had a friend of mine text me and said this was the first game where he felt Kobe not being there was really, really felt. And I said,
was that me? Because I also felt
oh,
that.
you felt like that? Well, he's a basketball guy, so that could be why. But he's like, this is the game I felt it. He was like, I really felt that Kobe not being there definitely impacted what we saw. And it came down, and if you noticed in that fourth quarter, and I remember saying to you, there was no one who can create their own shot. There's no one who can create their own shot. And you just saw the ball getting passed around, but Cleveland defending it. So when that happens and it breaks down, who's going to be the guy? This is stuff I was asking after game 1. You know what I mean? At game 2, like, who's going to be that guy to get those shots? And we definitely found a way to get those, or the Bulls found a way to get those victories. It's not going to always work out like that. Some games is going to look like this, man, but you definitely missed Kobe tonight because the Bulls definitely had an opportunity to close it, but didn't really have that kind of closer, especially with Giddey hurting his ankle.
Yeah, I agree that they had an opportunity to win this game. I don't think they played particularly well at pretty much at all. I mean, they had one really good quarter.
Second
quarter
was crazy.
Basically carried. If you look at their scoring throughout the game, 29 in the first, they lost by 3 points that quarter. 26 in the third, they lost by 14, and 24 in the fourth, they lose it by 8. Really, it was the fourth quarter where they won by 43-24, 19-point margin. And that was where everything was clicking for them. They were making all their shots. They were getting to the free throw line. They didn't turn it over. I think it was 13 of 14 at the line, 6 of 10 on threes, or 6 of 8 maybe on threes, and 1 turnover. Like, that was the point in the game where everything was flowing and playing their way. The rest of it, like, I felt like, especially in the second half, they were just kind of playing like prevent defense almost. And that's not to say that they weren't like trying to get back to their style. It just didn't feel like they were actually there. That's more of a reaction to the result as opposed to the process. But yeah, I mean, you look at the some of the scoring by half, like Donovan Mitchell, 1 of 10 in the first half.
Yeah.
Okoro did a really nice job on him. He just exploded in the second half. But yeah, you shoot 10 of 14 on threes in the first half, and the Cavs shoot 7 of 25. And then in the second half, that completely flips. You go 3 of 15, they go 10 of 21.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make it so simple that it's just like the 3-point battle, because obviously there's more to it. But I think that's emblematic of the problem with the Bulls offense today, which was that I don't really feel like they had any paint penetration outside of that second quarter.
Yeah.
And when you aren't getting to the rim, when you aren't breaking down the defense, and it's really tough against a Cavs team that plays 2 elite shot blocking bigs, it's just really tough to score. You just can't get into your own offense.
And those shot blocking bigs, I mean, I mentioned at the top the way that the Cavs just made winning possessions down the stretch and the Bulls didn't. You know that the Cavs are going to make a comeback. Not just from down 19, but, you know, going into that fourth quarter, the Bulls were clinging to a 2-point lead, and it was back and forth.
Yeah.
A pair of Trey Jones free throws, and credit to the Bulls for getting into the bonus as early as they did in that fourth quarter, because that would help. And they shot and made a zillion free throws tonight. Another thing that they did, as well as just dominating the second quarter specifically, to give themselves a chance. But Trey Jones' pair of free throws gives them a 122 to 116 lead with under 2 minutes to play. And then the ensuing possessions, Donovan Mitchell cashes a three off a screen. Giddey misses a contested driving layup. Donovan Mitchell driving layup converts. Okoro missed three. Donovan Mitchell converts an and one layup. And then Trey Jones misses a contested 7-foot running floater thing. Like Giddey and Trey Jones had contested shots where they were trying to get to the rim and couldn't convert. And on the other end, Donovan Mitchell cash, Donovan Mitchell cash, Donovan Mitchell cash.
Yeah.
That was the game.
That was the game.
The Bulls were up 6 with under 2 to go. And like erase everything else that happened before that. You're up 6 with under 2 to go. You should win that game.
Yeah, you should. And I think that was a great point you just mentioned, because you just talked about the penetration and the lack thereof. And the guy you mentioned is Trey Jones. It's the one that's trying to penetrate and get to the bucket in the land of the bigs, when you've got Jared Allen and you've got Mobley out over there, to deter you. And you've got Hunter out there to deter you. And he's trying to get inside to score, because nobody else, again, can create their own shot to get inside to score. I felt that was something that was really missed. And I felt that was something that was missing from a guy like Modest Buzelis tonight, who did not play well for the Bulls tonight.
Woof.
And, I mean, just a really tough game for him, man. And I felt his kind of skill set is needed in this kind of instance, when you need that paint penetration and getting to the line and getting those things going. Because we talked about it on the last game, Matt. What we wanted to see from him in this game was get to the free throw line, was attack and get to the free throw line. We saw him attack one good time in this game, and both you and I were about it. And then after that, it was like, okay, see you next game. And he just did not have that tonight. I mean, 18 minutes with the 4 points and 4 rebounds. I mean, no, man. No, absolutely not. 0 of 3 from the 3-point line, 1 of 6 from the field. I mean, he really struggled. And I mean, of course, some of it goes to the defense of the Cleveland Cavaliers for sure, because he went up, like I told you on the last show, man. I really like that lefty layup, that sweeping lefty layup he tries to do.
Got one
When he
packed.
got it, went up with that one, wow. They were like, no, sir, not today, young fella. What else you got? And he was like, oh, I might not have anything else tonight for you. But, yeah, he really struggled, man. And it can't be like that, because he was absolutely needed. I mean, it was to the point I'm watching Giddey yell at him because he missed his assignment of guarding, getting out there and stopping Jared Allen at the top of the key, because Giddey was in the paint, with his man. He's not supposed to be the one to come off of his man in the paint and guard. It was supposed to be Modest over there. And you see Giddey was over there like, Craigie, what are you doing over here, bro? Handle your business, sir. And I like that. I really like that he got on him about that, man. And then Billy, after that, was like, no, you just don't have it tonight. You got to go have a seat. But, yeah, just a tough game from Modest. And I felt like the skill set that he has is really needed in these kind of situations, especially when you're missing Kobe White. You need somebody who can kind of create with their handles and get to the lane.
Yeah, even throwing out like the makes and misses, which last night we talked about, like he's not going to be evaluated on how loud he has of a scoring performance, right? Obviously did not really score 4 points tonight, 1 of 6 shooting, 4 rebounds, but that was it in terms of counting stats. He did have 3 turnovers and 4 fouls. That was, to me, the impact that Modest had on this game. Was you could see him turning the ball over a couple of times in the first half. You saw him getting a couple of touch fouls here and there, and then a couple of bad fouls, and Billy just had to take him out. That's going to happen with a young player. Like, it's unfortunate because he had a better game last night, and you want to see him build on that. But I think that's just part of the learning process. And obviously, like, without because I want to get back to the clutch stuff, because again, it just didn't really feel like they had any scoring there, and you want Modest to be able to contribute in those moments. You want him to be out there, and you want him to be one of the guys that you can put the ball in his hands, but he just didn't have it tonight.
He did not.
But I mean, as a group, the Bulls' last field goal was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, they had a couple of trips to the line, but they just couldn't score.
They pulled half a Philly special.
Exactly. And I feel like it's just weird because obviously, you miss guys like Kobe on a night like tonight who are able to create their own shot, who are able to settle you down and get a good look if you're not able to get into your offense. But we've also seen this team really score well in those clutch moments. You look back at that Philly game where they were just turning on the afterburners and running them off the court and making this huge comeback late. So what was the difference between that game where you had the same personnel and this game where you didn't? And And to me, it was probably Giddey just not looking quite like himself.
That's what I was going to
after
say.
that ankle sprain. That looked really painful.
That really hurt.
You like to see the fact that, immediate, how bad is this? You see him going to the locker room.
Yeah,
and so you immediately start to worry.
Yeah.
But then he's quickly back in the locker room and sitting on the bench. And then later that same quarter, he's back out on the floor. So you're like, oh, okay. But maybe there was some level of him not fully trusting that ankle for the rest of the game. And it's,
I just he couldn't cut. He couldn't sprint. It just didn't look like he was playing like him out there.
From this set of eyes, it's hard to tell the difference. And that I'm
you
only
can
being
tell.
half sarcastic when I say that. But
No, bro, you could for real tell it was a different dude out there after that ankle injury, man. That's why Trey Jones was trying to be the one to go to the paint, because Giddey wasn't going to be the one to be able to do it.
I think that's right. There are two themes I'm seeing a lot of in the chat: Billy Donovan and the refs. The refs we can dismiss right now, because the Bulls shot 36 free throws to the Cavs 26.
That's a lot, bro.
The Bulls were whistled for 25 fouls. The Cavs were whistled for 27.
Yeah.
Stop it. When the Bulls are the road team, I'm not blaming the refs tonight. But
Billy and the refs.
Billy and the refs. There you go, Sean. I do want to dive into some of the Billy questions in the chat about who was on the floor late in that game that the Bulls coughed up. So let us knock out our first ad break, and then we will circle back to that point and pick it up where we left off. Hit the like button while you listen to the words from our friends and sponsors. CHGO Bulls is brought to you by Circa Sportsbook. Whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports is sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service featuring Big Dave.
Tell me.
Real human beings
Huzzah!
to talk to.
Yes.
It's so rare.
Rare.
The precious human customer service.
The people.
Circa knows it's important. That's why they provide it to their customers. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Basketball is here. Hockey's going on. Football in the thick of it. You love it. Yes. Bet on whatever your favorite sport is. Spreads, props, futures, even in-game betting. Circa Sports has it for you. Fun to bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. So what are you waiting for? Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You'll be good. It's fine. You'll be good.
Sure, good.
But great, that's better.
Great is better.
Better than good. But what you really want to be, ladies and gentlemen, is ultra. And there's only one way to do that, with the cold, crispy awesomeness of Michelob Ultra. Can or bottle, once it hits your lips, you'll realize it's superior. The delicious taste of victory deserves something equally superior. Cheer on your team with the Michelob Ultra. Well, Big Dave, how is it ultra? I'm so glad you slowed it down for me and asked me that. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's a superior, smooth taste worth playing for, and it is the official American beer sponsor of your CHGO Bulls. The superior game meets the superior taste. Hello, superior game meets superior taste. Hey, let's go hang out. Let's have fun together. Grab a Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer as you cheer your team on. No matter what you're playing for, make it superior with Michelob Ultra. Be ultra magnetic.
We're back. CHGO Bulls postgame rolling along on Saturday night. Thanks for hanging out with us, Bulls Nation. Hit that like button if you didn't do it during the ad break as we continue to break this one down. Seen a lot of people in the chat talking about Billy Donovan and his decision of who was on the floor late in that game. We were talking before the break about maybe Giddey not looking entirely himself after that rolled ankle. And I saw some people in the chat asking about, hey, Ayo had a pretty solid active game off the bench. He was getting downhill at times. Ayo has already proven in games this season to be a clutch as hell player in the fourth quarter, knocking down big shots. Why wasn't he out there? I've also seen people talking about Jalen Smith and the strong game he had, maybe some younger, fresher legs. Why wasn't he out there to try to perhaps deter Donovan Mitchell? He was also knocking his shots down tonight.
Balling, man.
As opposed to, Okoro missing a three late, Herter missing a three late. Maybe Jalen Smith is out there and knocks down a three. I get that Bulls fans will forever and for the rest of time, as long as he's here, question Billy Donovan's rotation decisions.
Sure.
Especially in a loss.
Sure.
After a loss.
Sure.
When some of those questions come to the forefront of your mind. I don't know how to put this more plainly.
Okay, put it.
Billy ain't benching Vooch late in a tight game. I'm sorry, did we all forget what happened on Tuesday? who hit them their game-winning three, who's hit tons of clutch shots for this team late in games, who before hitting that game-winning three against Philly made some incredible defensive plays for all we rag on him, Vooch. Yes, Jalen was having a great game off the bench. Maybe his best game as a Bull.
Without a
doubt. It was his high point total, I believe, as a Bull.
With 11 rebounds.
Spanning his, like, not just this season, his career high as a Bull.
Yeah.
I get that question. He's not benching Vooch in a 1 or 2 possession game late in the fourth quarter. I mean, am I crazy and thinking it's that simple of an answer? It's not happening unless he's going to go double big and put Jalen Smith out there along with Vooch.
Yeah, I think that would probably have to be it. I agree. And I was just looking at the fourth quarter box score to circle back to the Giddey comment. He I don't know he was scoreless after he came back. Over 4 in the fourth quarter. I don't know exactly what it was if you include the last 3 minutes of the third quarter that he played, but over 4 in the fourth with a rebound and an assist and 2 turnovers. So he just I just don't think the Bulls are a good team if Giddey's not playing his best. Correct. What has made the Bulls competitive in these first 9 games is Giddey, is his ability to get to the rim, his ability to put pressure on teams.
No doubt.
And I think if you just don't have that, it's like taking the engine out of the car.
Yeah.
You've got some nice pieces there, but you just don't have the guy who's driving.
Yeah.
As far as Jalen Smith goes, he had a nice game. I think he did most of his damage in the second quarter, and frankly, he was a big reason why they were doing that damage in the second quarter. He was hitting his shots. He was scoreless in the fourth quarter as well. He played about 3 minutes, 2 rebounds. But I agree with you, Matt. He's just not – Vooch is going to be out there. He's too steady. He's too experienced. And, I think Jalen – as well as he played, it was allowed however many points it was, 18 and 11, I think you said.
Yeah.
Where he's hitting shots, he's making plays. He had that offensive rebound that I don't know why it got overturned, but he could have had another 2 on that one.
Yeah. Terrible call by the refs.
But I think just in terms of the possession, are you where you're supposed to be? Are you executing the defense? Are you doing all these little things? I think Billy can just rely on Vooch there more because he's way more experienced. And I don't think Vooch played a great game.
No, he didn't.
I don't think anybody did, frankly, except for maybe Okoro and Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
But I just don't think you're gonna there's a certain degree to which Billy is going to play the hot hand in these games because that's what his formula is this year, just with who is on this roster. I don't know if I would include Vooch and Giddey and probably Kobe whenever he gets back into that category.
I think Billy has no problem with playing the hot hand if the hot hand is a player that he trusts.
Yeah.
So when Ayo Dosunmu, we saw it early on in the year against Orlando when Ayo was cooking and Giddey was like, no, you go ahead and you can leave him in because he's cooking. The reason Billy doesn't, question that is because he has trusted Ayo from day one to be Ayo Dosunmu. So it's going to be all right. He has no problem doing that. Kevin Huerter, honestly, he has that feeling about him as well. He's got that trust. Jalen Smith, I just don't feel like he has that level of trust in him to where even though the man didn't miss a shot, even though he didn't do that, even though he had the 11 rebounds, he's like what Matt said. In that fourth quarter, Vooch has shown that he's got that ice water in his veins, and if they need a big bucket, he has hit countless big buckets for the Bulls. Even when he first got here and he was struggling, he was hitting big buckets for the Bulls. Hell, I remember the first game of that, the first time they went 4-0 in Zach LaVine's career, the first game of the year was a terrible game for Vooch, but Vooch hit the three-pointer that put them up, in that game, in that fourth quarter. It was the biggest shot of the game. So he's going to have that trust in him. I don't think he has that. I'm not saying he doesn't trust Jalen Smith. I'm saying he doesn't have that full trust where he's like, no, Vooch, you know what I'm saying? You go ahead and you sit this one out. I'm going to roll with him. I think it's a better scenario that he might go with playing both bigs, knowing that Mobley and Jared Allen are going to be out there. Yeah. I wouldn't have had a problem with him putting Jalen Smith and Vooch out there in that instance, one, because of the size, but two, because – again, the dude didn't miss a shot. Yeah. So I can understand why people are upset about that, but Matt is correct and Goat is correct. In that fourth quarter, if he's going to have to choose, if between a 9-point and 4 rebound game from Vooch or 18 and 11 ain't missed nothing, Jalen Smith, he's going to go with Vooch on those things.
Well, and just one more thing I would add to that is think about what the Bulls like to go to in the fourth quarter when the game is slowing down, when they aren't able to get out in transition, when they do have to settle into the half court. The first 4 games of the year that they won, it was Trey Jones and Vooch pick and roll. Yeah. Because that's the steady play that they can go to where they know they can get a shot. Trey's either going to get downhill, get to the rim. Vooch is going to get a ball in the pocket, and he's going to make a play, whether it's for himself or moving the ball to the other side of the court. Like, he's just too important to, like, the core identity of what this team is. And it was great that Jalen played a good game, but I don't think that you, like, replace him with Vooch just because Vooch is playing a bad game when Vooch is still sort of very much a pillar of how they're trying to play.
And I think, honestly, probably if Vooch came to him and was like, hey, man, he cooking.
Yeah.
You know, leave him in, then it might have been something different. I think he might have went with
like
that.
Giddey did with Io down the stretch of that win earlier this season.
But yeah, but I don't look at it and be super mad about it. Like, oh, why didn't you leave him in? But yeah, I do feel like he should have had some more time in there, at least playing them both together in that fourth quarter.
Like, you know, it wasn't a game winner epic corner three like it was on Tuesday, but Vooch, you know, the final 2 of his 9 points tonight was a really clutch little, you know, flip shot in the lane after a nice dump off pass from, I think, Trey Jones that pushed the Bulls lead back up to 4 late in this game, where it was like, we're up 1 possession, we're up 2 possession. He hit a big bucket late on a night where he wasn't having a great offensive night. We've seen that repeatedly from Vooch. And I'm not saying I necessarily agree concretely with Billy being this dedicated to, Dave, your whole thing about Billy trusts who he trusts and he doesn't trust who he doesn't trust. I think it's just a correct observation by you and the explanation for why we saw who we saw on the floor late in this tight game, regardless of how great of a game Jalen Smith had. One of these guys is the trusted veteran on one of the younger, if not youngest, teams in the league, who is a 2-time All-Star, who has been huge for them in their hot start.
Yeah.
And somebody in the chat said, it doesn't matter, you know, what Vooch did in the last game. You know, you coach the game that you're in, something along those lines.
That's a fair point.
Levon 9012, don't live on last game or past games, coach the game you're currently in. Fair point.
Very fair.
Maybe a more, you know, adventurous coach would have said, all right, I'm gonna sit Vooch for the final few minutes of this tight game and trust Jalen Smith out there. Somebody else in the chat mentioned, we've also seen Jalen Smith make some pretty head-shaking, poor choice plays in his Bulls tenure.
Sure.
It's a hindsight kind of situation.
Yeah.
We don't know what happens in that game if Jalen Smith is on the floor instead of Vooch for the final 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, and for me, Matt, hey, Julia, and for me, it was more so the things that I'm talking about was guys who couldn't create their own shot, you know, and getting to the bucket and those kind of things. So I didn't even honestly like, oh, man, if Jalen Smith was out there, he probably would have carried us to a victory. I didn't feel that way. It was like, no, I needed another guy out there. Like, if Io was out there, that's what I wanted. I wanted Io DeSumo to be out there, but he was on his minutes restriction, so he couldn't be out there to finish the game. I believe he played 23 minutes tonight, but he was outstanding. He was outstanding out there on the floor, man, and I wanted him to be out there because they needed a shot creator more than anything, because even at that point in time, you saw how Cleveland was defending the Bulls. They were shutting down, you know, the passing, you know, everybody touching the basketball rhythm thing. They were like, no, find the one person who's going to dribble and get you some points. That's the person. That's what we're going to make you do out here. Jalen Smith, I don't think that would have made a huge or a big difference, but I agree. I would have still put him out there, but I would have put him out there with Vooch, because what was I losing at the 4? You could probably explain that to me a little bit better, because I don't know what they were losing at the 4 with Patrick Williams being out there or with Modest being out there, because neither one of them in the fourth quarter, I was like, you know, I could replace one of those with Jalen.
I thought that was an interesting question, and I feel like they may have actually, it might have been a good idea to close that way. They had Trey, Giddey, Herter was out there.
Herter, yeah.
And then Trey, Giddey, Herter, who am I missing, was closing the game. Okoro and Vooch.
Yes.
Okoro, like, you just need that defense on Donovan Mitchell. Like,
correct.
You can't really take him out.
Can't take him out.
You can't really take out Trey, especially with the way that Giddey was not looking like himself. Maybe Giddey would have been the guy to take out, but I also feel like Kevin Herter had a really good game.
He did.
His shooting, his playmaking was really good, and he was starting to hit his threes a little bit.
Okoro also had a strong shooting night.
He did. So I just, like, you're taking out one of those guys. Tonight, maybe it should have been Giddey, just because he clearly was not himself.
He was not.
But if Giddey had looked himself, I just don't know, like, you're going to take out your better floor spacers, you're going to take out your second attack, paint attack guy and Trey Jones. It's just like, there's not a clean option for me. I think tonight probably the answer is is Giddey just because of how he didn't look right.
Yeah, but then you got to deal with.
Oh.
Oh dear God, they took out Giddey.
Well, I think there was a pretty good reason tonight, at least.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just saying.
it's not like we haven't seen it before. We've
Right.
seen him take out the game because of that. This would have been a valid reason. Like, oh yeah, you're hurt. Your ankle's not feeling well. Come have a seat next to me. But he couldn't put Io in, man. And I think that was a big reason.
The minutes limit thing was also
I think
tough.
that was a big reason.
If Io weren't on that 24-minute limit tonight, so he played a back-to-back coming off of missing a few games with a quad injury. That's non-trivial. He played 23 and change.
Yeah.
So, like, he hit that limit and then was off the floor. Maybe it's a different situation. And then the only other discrepancy is Jalen versus Vooch. And, like, I saw somebody say, I can't believe you're justifying Billy's rotations. Again, not justifying, just saying.
Telling you what it is.
These are the reasons why we think Billy rode with who he rode with down the stretch.
Right.
If it was me, I would have gone with probably the lineup that he closed with, except for maybe Giddey. But that's a tough one.
I would have had Jalen and Vooch. I know me. I would have had both of them in there.
You would have had both of them out there.
Yeah, man.
All right. On that note, let's knock out our second ad break. We'll come up back on the other side. More of y'all's thoughts on tonight's loss. Let us know how you're feeling. Throw us a super chat if you feel like it. We got a couple others. We'll get to those. Plus, a little teaser of our chat with Tim Legler
Little nibble.
that we had yesterday and his stock buying in this Bull Strong start.
He's smart.
Next, hit the like.
Ladies and gentlemen, this ad right here is Baby Joey approved. Oh, we love Baby Joey. He's an amazing person. And guess what? Baby Joey knows 3 words. Do you know what those 3 words are? They never understood.
They never understood.
Why it cost so much money to look so dang good? We don't understand, Baby Joey. He ain't get it neither, man. He's very confused, and he's a baby, so it's like triple confused. I'm confused. Oh, my God. But guess what? Shady Ray said we're going to set out to do something about that, man, because they are awesome. Those sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not ridiculously expensive. And here's the awesome part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, crack and splat right back on your face when you send them in. You get yourself a brand new replacement pair. Explosion on your face. I love it. Shady Rays is eyewear that's got your back. And we teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com. Use that code CHGO for 35% off those premium polarized shades. And try and pick yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars over 300,000 people because the Shady Rays, where the Rays are oh so shady.
Today's show also brought to you by Eye on the Ball. All right, athletes, here's a question. Are you serious about leveling up your game?
Are you?
Because the right coach can change everything. And now finding one is easy with Eye on the Ball. It doesn't matter if you're a kid just starting out or competing at the top level. You can sign up totally free at eyeontheball.net.
Free.
Create your profile, search through coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that's right for you. Find your Tom Thibodeau. From soccer to swimming, baseball to basketball, you name it, the coaches are there. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. That's IEYE on the ball. BALL.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level. We back. CHGO Bulls postgame rolling along. Thanks for being here, hanging out in that chat. Hit the like button if you didn't do it during the ad break. Make sure you're subscribed to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We got some super chats to shout out. Andreas with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you saying Billy lost us this. Playing Giddey and not Io down the stretch. Giddey was shaken up because he knows the heinous memes of his ankles are waiting for. Hey, let's not laugh about that. Look, I mean, Stacey was getting all uppity on the broadcast.
No, he was
thinking that the Cavs bench
was
like celebrating Giddey's ankle getting broken.
See, you missed it because you went to the bathroom, so you missed this part.
Yeah.
But he was right because they showed footage of during the timeout of Cavs players literally laying down on the floor imitating Josh Giddey.
Oh, okay. I did not see that part.
You missed that part. And so when I saw
I thought it was just him saying that about them like amping up their guy DeAndre Hunter for an incredible crossover. And dunk and one.
Everybody would have
that
reacted
also
the same.
featured Giddey writhing in the background.
I feel like two things can be true, right? Like a team can like celebrate when their player makes the same play, or that's like one of the things that you like most aspire to do as a basketball player, is break someone's ankle.
I've watched pickup games end because
at the same point, he like actually injured it badly.
Yeah,
and I believe, to answer one of the super chat questions, it was the same ankle.
Yeah, Xander
his right
Steele with a
ankle.
super chat asked, was it the same ankle that gave all of us a heart attack at Media Day last season? When it was like, here's this weird sequence of words, the name of an injury that we are just now finding out that Josh Giddey has on his ankle.
That was crazy. I remember that.
So it is that same ankle, the right ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for an update from him, Billy, somebody post-game to talk about the severity. My hope and guess would be not too bad because he came back and did play on it.
That's what I was going to
But
say.
a lot of times, like, guys just like tighten up their ankle brace and like tighten up their shoe or retape it or whatever, and they go back out there, and then when they get off of it and they untie their shoe and they're like, it swells up. And so you want to be careful about that. The NBA though, like these guys have like the most insane machines that will like help swelling. And like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. The fact that he was back out there is pretty crazy. At the same point, it would not, as somebody who has like suffered terrible ankle injuries before, like I would probably be out for like 3 months with that. You know what I'm saying?
No flex.
But I, you know, he could miss a game or two. He could also come right back. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what Billy says, but he certainly did not look himself. And frankly, like that was a bit surprising to me that Billy leaves him out there, because he always mentions, you know, I pulled him out after that collision because it just didn't look like he was himself, or he twisted his ankle, he went to the locker room, he came back, and then I just yanked him because he wasn't really impacting the game that he normally does. That's something that Billy says a lot. And so I was a little bit surprised that we did see Giddey out there that much. But like, again, he's just been the entire source of their offense. So I don't blame him for wanting to see if he can't give it a go, because that's really how they're scoring.
Yeah, and I think he also, like you said, like if he stops playing, he didn't want that swelling to kind of occur and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation to be in when you know the guy you want to put in, you know, when that situation happens, but he's on a men's restrict, so you can't put him in. So you kind of bite the bullet on that one and hope for the best with Josh Giddey, who's going to play. And I mean, for me, it showed a lot about his toughness again tonight, like to do that and to still be out. Like Goat said, Goat's like, dude, please, absolutely not. But Giddey was just like, hey, man, tighten that up and we about to go do our thing. So, yeah, man, I appreciate that aspect of Giddey. Definitely showed that leadership that you need on a young team like that. Like I told you, even yelling at Modest, I love that part. Like those little small things can still be helpful to a team even when you're hurt and you can't be at your 100% best. So I'm hoping for the best for him. I hope he's back against the Spurs, man. But yeah, it didn't look good, and he definitely looked like it hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you just said you hope he's back for the Spurs game.
Yeah.
Bulls are off tomorrow. They got the Spurs on Monday. That's their back home game, but then they go back on the road Wednesday, Pistons. Then they got a few days off, but then they have a stretch starting a week from tomorrow, next Sunday, where they play 5 games in 7 nights.
Woo.
That is a brutal amount of games in 1 week.
And a lot on the road.
Most of it on the road.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, you know, your offensive engine and maybe playing on an ankle that's not 100%. How many minutes and how many games of those 5 games in 7 nights can you rely on him and that ankle? I mean, you just got to cross your fingers as a Bulls fan right now and hope for the best.
Yeah, man.
Because playing with a gimpy ankle, you know, strap it up, tape it up, do whatever, give it treatment, and like you can do all those things with NBA's teams medical staffs these days. But that's a lot of basketball to play on a bad ankle.
And also this is why it's good to get off to a start like the Bulls have gotten off
Bank those wins.
Also, banking those wins allows you to take your time and heal up a little more. So if he does sit out a game, it becomes understandable rather than an immediacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's all right.
And again, this is just an if, not, well, now we have to deal with this. If this Josh Giddey ankle, they're going to be careful, maybe give him a night or 2 off. It sounded like tonight was it as far as limiting Ayo's minutes coming off of that quad contusion. We also know that Ayo has proven over the last several years of his NBA career that he can start, he can come off the bench. Don't matter.
Correct.
Tell me what you need from me tonight, coach. I will do it.
I got you.
So, while we're still awaiting the return of Kobe White, which, again, knock on wood, might happen sometime on that 3-game trip out west next week, you might have just like, okay, well, now we're going to play Ayo more minutes tonight. The offense will obviously look a lot different and might have some struggles without Josh out there, but you cross every bridge and every game when you come to it.
Go ahead, go.
I was just going to say, so it's off tomorrow, Spurs home Monday, off Tuesday, Pistons away Wednesday. Then it's off Thursday, off Friday, off Saturday, and then you start the 5 and 7. You've got at Jazz, at Nuggets, off on Tuesday, at Blazers, off, home versus Heat, home versus Wizards. Kobe is supposed to, if all goes well, start ramping up in that period of time between the Pistons and the Jazz. So he could be back by then. Again, we don't even know if Giddey's going to miss any time.
That's true.
So who knows? But like, to me, yes, Io can fill in and step up as a starter for sure. Same Trey, same most of these guys. But the concern I would have there is your whole thing is you don't have the star power to compete with these teams, but you have depth. But if you're missing your starting backcourt and your backup guards are having to slide in, who is backing them up? Where's that depth coming from now? And if you don't have the stars and you don't have the depth, like I do think that could be a big area for concern, but let's not go there yet. Let's just see what happens with all these guys. I mean, we don't know how Io is responding to his return to play. We don't know where Kobe's at, and we don't even know if this Giddey situation is going to last more time. So we'll see, but the NBA schedule is not very forgiving. It just goes, and you've got to find ways to. It's going to happen to you regardless.
Right, and the Bulls have actually been on the short end of number of games played out of the gate compared to most of the league. You know, like the Bulls have played 5, a lot of teams have played 7. Now tonight, the Bulls have played 9, a lot of teams have played 10 or 11. So they're going to catch up with that 5 games in 7 nights.
Yeah.
At least the fifth in that 5 and 7 stretch is the Zards.
That's it.
It's like, okay, we made it to the finish line.
They're kind of frisky.
Zards are frisky?
They are frisky.
Keyshawn George and Alex Sarr are playing crazy.
Jordan, he's having a great game. A great season, excuse me.
Before we get to legs, I did also want to touch on Modest. Mike Elm 1K in the chat just said Modest struggling again is concerning. I think there was also a super chat about Modest, Sean. Mongo saying channeling his inner madness didn't work. LMAO could be referencing Modest looking pissed after the loss to the Bucks last night.
Yeah.
Dave, you and I talked about it in post game last night and how
Loved
much we love seeing him that mad about a regular season loss, especially after a game in which he played pretty well. But tonight was another rough one for Modest.
It was.
I would now calculate that as 3 rough games out of the last 4, giving him credit for playing pretty well last night.
Yeah.
But the 2 prior to that and tonight, foul trouble, turnovers, and didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah.
I will forgive Modest or any other player for having a bad shooting night. It happens. He was 1 of 6 and missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts. Only got to the line 1 time. Don't love that. But, I mean, just fouls, turnovers, and just not being in the right place at the right time, finishes with just 4 points, 4 boards, and 18 minutes. Like, to me, the 18 minutes thing is the part that matters the most, because Billy, whether it be foul trouble or just not trusting a young player, was like, you know what, Modest, I wanted to, and I think, you know, you were talking about this earlier, wanted to but did not believe that we would see a lot of Modest in that fourth quarter of a game that the Bulls were trying to hold on to a lead against a tough opponent on the road.
Well, he wasn't earning it. Like, he didn't play well. And I feel like it started almost at the beginning of the game. He had that run out, and he was, like, in a foot race with Evan Mobley, and he could have, like, just tried to put it down and, like, dunk it, but he kind of tried to get fancy and got his – I don't remember if he missed a layup or it got blocked, but it's just, like, those are the ones that you want to just see him make a statement and, like, get himself off on the right foot. And – you know, Billy said this, Modest has said this, like, he's not the type of guy that is going to, like, dwell on a mistake. He moves on from that stuff quickly, but it did feel like to me that play kind of set up his night, where then he tried to get loose off the dribble and he turned it over, and then he did it again, and then he had the foul, and it was just like a couple of bad things happening in a row, and he wasn't really able to break out of that. I don't know if he'll get to a point in his career, I would imagine he does, where he, like, is forced to play through that, where Billy just has to leave him out there because he's that good. But I want to see more of those games where, like, he starts poorly and then he snaps out of it, because we know, okay, he hits his first 3, he hits his second 3, or he gets a steal and a layup, and now he's in a rhythm and now he's playing well. It's like, you can't just rely on whether the ball goes in being the compass for how well you play that night. And like tonight, he just didn't impact the game in any way positively, I didn't think.
And that's where I'm going with this, It's not the points. It's not the scoring. And I've said this in the offseason. Like, that stuff will come. He'll have those games. What you control, though, is that effort on rebounding and blocking those shots. He had 0 steals and 0 blocks. No, he had 4 rebounds. Absolutely not. That's not acceptable stuff to me. Getting to the line once? No.
And that was the one time he was decisive and aggressive physically.
Exactly. He attacked the rim. and he got to the foul line. They're waiting to blow the whistle for you because they see the heightened size and the way you play. They're going to blow the whistle. So that's what's more, for me, was not even concerning, just upsetting. I'm not concerned about it because I know it's in him. It's just upsetting because I wasn't seeing it when I thought I was going to see it tonight. But no, 4 rebounds and that's it. Never for Modest Buzelis, all right? And only 4? Never, all right? That should never occur for a Modest Buzelis. I understand the 1 of 6 shooting. You know what I mean? I understand the turnovers. I understand those things. But, man, that other stuff, Matt, you just won't get me on board. You know what I'm saying, with that, bro. I'm going to need some blocks. I'm going to need some deterred shots. I'm going to need 8 rebounds, man. And that's being nice, saying 8 rebounds. I'm going to need those things from him, man. And that stuff has to be consistent. I didn't feel him on the floor tonight.
Right.
I don't want to say that after games. I didn't feel him on the floor, bro. I felt Lee on the floor more than I felt Modest Buzelis. Should never say that. But that's what it was. I felt him more, bro. And I think that's why Billy understood that too. And I credit Billy for understanding and kind of having his pulse on what's going on when Modest has it and when he doesn't. And when he knows to have him in the game, when he doesn't know it, or when he shouldn't be in the game. Because tonight, it was one of those examples like, nah, bro, come have a seat. Because if this is the effort you're going to give me tonight, nope, you're going to come sit over here, all right? And I'm not even mad that he did that to him, but Modest should be. And I hope he take all this stuff personally.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate.
Play.
Modest had 4 rebounds in 18 minutes. Pat had 1 rebound in 23.
Fair. Who did you feel more?
I felt Pat more because he
Devil
was
smashed.
Aggressive and actually knocked down his shots.
Yeah, you felt
so,
him.
like, okay, all
The
right.
brow, just feel a sweat.
I didn't think that Pat had a particularly strong game. You know, if you put up double figures off the bench, solid, good for you. But more so, I agree with your point that I did not feel Modest making himself felt out there on the court tonight.
That's it.
Which is, you know, the part that's frustrating. Dreads, shout out to our pal saying in the chat, please don't get in Billy's doghouse, Modest.
Yo,
and to me, like,
that's
so
the thing. You're right.
that is what I am not super worried about tonight, but after this stretch of what I would call 3 dud games out of the last 4 is a little bit of worry creeping in the back of my head as somebody who is still hanging all the hopes on this Bulls team actually being a real team, maybe next year, maybe the year after that, on Modest turning into a star in this league of like, do we have to revert? Do we have to move backwards as far as Modest and earning minutes
I'm not moving
in year 2?
Yeah.
He earned a starting spot down the stretch of his rookie year.
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
I do not want to go backwards from that.
No, I do not want to
and
go
like,
back.
I get Billy giving him quick hooks that he has done recently. Learning, making mistakes. We are going to hammer this in. You even saw his teammate Josh Giddey chewing him out after he failed to come help from the weak side on a drive at some point in that game. I'm all for that. But to me, I think with how much Modest's growth means to this franchise, it has to be a like enduring growing pains thing.
I just feel like you look at the way the Bulls have played on the whole over the last however many games, and it's probably going to match up pretty closely with the games that Modest has not been quite as productive, where they just aren't playing to the identity that they played to during their first 4 games when everything was going swimmingly, right? That's just not – I think a lot of it has to do with how the team is playing and Modest feeding off of that. I do think he's going to show the ability to score on his own.
Yeah,
during this season, he's already done that.
Yeah.
I think that you'll see more and more of that as his career progresses. I don't think he's in a place right now where you can just give him the ball and say – go get us 20, 25 points a night.
Correct.
I just don't think that's realistic or feasible or smart for who he is right now. Can he score 25 in a game? For sure. Like a lot of it, though, I think is going to happen in transition. But my point with this is that I just don't think the Bulls as a whole have been playing their best basketball over these last 4 games. They had a really bad first half against the 76ers. They didn't play great against the Knicks in that second game. They did not play great for 3 out of the 4 quarters tonight, I would say. And I thought the Bucks game was like okay. It just wasn't like it was like a B- game for me in terms of like how well they played. But I just feel like, are we already starting to see are we hanging on too much to the first 4 wins and not looking enough at the last 5 game sample of who this team is? And I think, look, we're going to see Kobe come back hopefully soon. It's going to be ups and downs. Like I don't want to gauge everything off of the most recent 5 games, but it did make me wonder just kind of like where this team is now relative to the rest of the East, as they have lost 2 in a row here and are now in 5th place as opposed to first, which they were heading into the weekend.
Sean?
Just to your point about if you don't have Giddey and Kobe, how different does this team look? And then even with Modest not playing up to his highest abilities. This is from Cowley's article after today's game. Billy Donovan saying, it's just the way we're built on the differences between the teams the Bulls have played in the last 2 games. We've got to do it collectively as a group. That's just the way it's got to be. So just kind of, emphasizing that if, they're all not playing at 100%, even if it's 99%, they'll lose.
On a team that your lead executive and coach are preaching 9 or 10 deep, and Billy has been playing 9 or 10 deep. Yes. Julian Phillips, only 4 minutes tonight, so kind of like a 9.5 rotation. But honestly, Julian Phillips was on the floor for a part of that dominant fourth quarter.
He was.
Second quarter. Mm-hmm. But it has to be them all playing collectively.
Yeah.
And greater than the sum of their parts, because the other thing about this, the last 4 games compared to the first 4 games, or however you want to, dice it up, or 9 games now, we wanted to give Bulls credit, and deservedly so. Mm-hmm. Hey, Pistons were a playoff team last year. Mm-hmm. Dub. Orlando, playoff team last year. Dub. Knicks, playoff team last year.
Screw the Knicks.
Dub. There is also, I think, some truth in the fact that these last 3 teams that they've played, Philly, miracle comeback, but you were down big. And, we all knew that they tanked last year, but that's a team that has a legitimate MVP candidate in Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid was out there for at least a half looking like his former self.
Correct.
That's a team. Mm-hmm. Cavs, good. Mm-hmm. Bucks, good. Mm-hmm. If the Bulls don't play miracle 9 to 10 players, scrappy David versus Goliath at the height of their collective capability, it is going to be hard to beat these teams that are better than them, have more talent than them.
Yeah, so it's
sorry to be that guy.
I don't think that's breaking news that it's going to be hard to beat teams that are number 1, 2, and 3 in the East. It's going to be hard to beat the Cavs. It's going to be hard to beat the Bucks. It's going to be hard to beat Detroit. Detroit, look at Detroit, what they're doing now. They won 5 straight.
7-2.
You know what I mean? They're at the top right now. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult to beat them. I think I'm watching it a little differently. And I know who you're talking to. But I'm watching it a little bit differently because, for me, these wins are amazing. But I look at the losses. Mm-hmm. I really do. I've watched the losses and how they lose. This, for me, was the first loss where I was like, okay, damn. You know what I mean? That was damn. The Bucks, dude, Giannis is a monster.
It was
the
for
Knicks,
that reason, though. It's they're just they got a better player and they're a better team.
I'm just saying, when I say damn, I'm saying you had that opportunity to close it, and you couldn't close it against a really good team who showed you why they're a really good basketball team. So that's what I'm saying when I say damn. But listen, the Knicks loss, I was like, okay, yeah, but look how they played. Look what the Knicks had to do. They had to play miracle ball to beat the Bulls, because that 3-point shooting was out of this world when they beat the Chicago Bulls. The Bucks, it's Giannis. Yes, Giannis is going to destroy you. That is exactly how he rolls, man. But this one right here, I was like, yeah, they're better. They're absolutely better. You had a shot at it, but they're better. But you're 6-3. You continue on, and you continue to test yourselves against these really good teams, which is what I like, is they get to test themselves against these really good teams. And the position they're in is still a really solid position.
And it's dude, we knew coming in, this is a tough back-to-back.
Yeah.
2 good teams. You're playing on their court for both of them. And last night's game was closer than the final score indicated.
Yeah.
They were in that.
They were.
Until very late. Giannis, too much to handle.
Why is he 8 feet tall?
Tonight, they have a big lead for a few different reasons. They're hot in the first half from 3. Mm-hmm. They get to the line a lot. They cough up a lead. They still have a chance to win it. They don't make enough plays down the stretch. The Cavs do. Mm. Highlight, headline, Donovan Mitchell. Oof. You lost to the Bucks and their MVP caliber player. You lost to the Cavs and they're maybe not quite MVP caliber player, but when he wants to be, one of the most deadly closers in the NBA.
Unbelievable
Monster.
In the second half.
Absolute monster.
It happens.
It happens, man.
And it's tough that you have to take those L's back-to-back on the chin like that. But at the same time, as a Bulls fan, here's an optimist hat for you. You got to be encouraged by the fact that they were in both of these games.
They really
should have won one of them.
Yeah, which is crazy. But that's what it is.
It's a different
baby.
story than a year ago.
Yeah.
With our remaining time,
Before you go, I'll just real quick shout out to my boy Anand, who's in the chat, man. He's never in the chat.
Hey.
Like, he'll come out like that.
Shout
so
out
he's
to
in
ya.
there, man. Big shout out to you, bro. Man, that's my dog right there. Known him for years. That's my guy. But go ahead.
Just wanted to share a little snippet of our chat with Tim Legler yesterday. Busy man.
Yeah.
Been doing awesome stuff in that A team for NBA on ESPN so far.
Shout out Richard
They've
Jefferson.
called some great games.
Bang.
Hanging out with Goats BFF Mike Breen. So the whole thing we dropped as a mini pod earlier today. You can go watch the whole thing after we finish up with postgame. But just wanted to play a little snippet for you tonight, and also for those of you who listening in on the pod, and then encourage you to go find it on YouTube. I think we'll also put it in the pod feed as well. But here's a nice little silver lining to wrap up a tough post game and a tough L tonight, because it's Tim Legler talking about how much he's buying stock in this Bulls hot start. Sean, take it away.
I'm curious, as somebody who is a former sharpshooter in the NBA of your era, there are a lot of questions that people had about Giddey, but I think chief among them was, can he be a floor spacer when he's playing off the ball? Is the three-point shot real? It's mostly been unguarded up to now, but he shot above 40% after the All-Star break last year. He's shooting above 40% to start this season. How big of a sample size as a sharpshooter yourself do you want to see before you start buying into a guy, turning that into a legitimate part of his offense, especially a guy like Giddey, whose shot form is so unorthodox?
I've seen enough already to know. And here's why. You're right. The mechanics are not going to be something I'm going to go with him and make a shooting instructional video for the young players, right? I feel you on that. It's not picture perfect. But what's happened is his confidence level in the shot and his all-around game and the impact he's having as an offensive player is giving him a little bit more space, and he's a little bit more selective the ones he takes. But most importantly, he's expecting it to go in at a better rate now. You think about this. Josh Giddey basically shot himself off the floor in Oklahoma City. I mean, that's what happened to him there. They were loading up and just leaving him in the corners, and he couldn't make one, didn't really want to take it. He goes to Chicago last year, very respectable 37%. If he shot 37% the rest of his career, I think everybody in Chicago would take it. But now here you look at him, he's up over 40. Will he end up over 40? Remains to be seen. Not enough of a sample size to know that, because that's when you start to get into like the top upper crust shooters in the league. You get it north of 40. I don't know if it'll stay above 40, but if that thing stays above 38% and he's taking a volume 4, 5, 6 of those in a game, that's going to tell me that this is how it's going to be for the rest of his career now, because he's broken through something mentally, and more importantly, he's doing so many things on the floor offensively that are making you guard him differently, that he can be more selective when he gets those. We're not scrutinizing every miss anymore the way that they did in Oklahoma City when he first got to Chicago. That's all you wanted to see. Man, can this guy shoot? Like, I don't know if he can shoot. Well, whatever happened in Chicago to put that stuff behind him has happened. And now I think he's pretty much good to go, probably for the rest of his career, in the upper 30s, and maybe that occasional season where he gets to 40%.
Tim, I'm staying right there because you had a quote on the All-NBA podcast when you said, since his three-point shooting has been better, it has made him a better passer. Can you expound on that right there?
Yeah, because you think about when you're a great passer, which he is, he's a great ball mover. He's got incredible anticipation for where the ball's supposed to go next. The most thing I love about him the most as a passer, incredibly decisive. If that ball, comes to him and the next guy's open one more pass, it's practically a touch pass to that spot. There's no wasted motion. But when he's handling the ball and seeing the floor, handling in transition, the fact that he can now shoot the ball like that in half court means he has to be guarded closer. When you're guarded closer, the windows for you to make passes are actually larger, because it's easy to throw the ball up and over or around ball pressure as an NBA player. It's a lot harder if that defender is 5, 6 feet off of you and he's halfway, blocking the passing lane of where you saw a window. That makes it difficult. And a lot of times you don't even throw the pass because it's just not there. It's going to get tipped. The angle for it isn't good enough. When you got guys closing out at you harder, it's going to make passing windows better. It's also going to allow you to beat guys off the dribble a little bit easier. which then clearly is going to make your passing options more open and available. And so that's why I think for any player, you become a better passer when you have to be guarded differently on the perimeter. It's just more windows are open for you to make plays that you couldn't have normally.
So that was part of our chat with Tim Legler yesterday.
Really good stuff.
Awesome stuff. I mean, Legs is great. Sean just shared the link to the full interview we did with Legler as this week's mini pod. So go give that a watch and or listen after we wrap up postgame tonight. But just like really, I think, interesting and insightful answers. He told me, I'm buying Giddey. And it's mostly because he looks confident when he's taking it, and that's what matters most for NBA guys knocking down their shots.
I think I like the fact he's very into the Bulls. And he said it's one of my teams that I watch. Like he said he's going out of his way to watch.
Picking the Bulls on a night when he's not calling a game and has a lot of options for which games he's watching.
He's picking the Bulls.
Legs is picking the Bulls.
And that says a lot right there, man.
They're
cool.
a fun team to watch when
are
they're playing the way that they want to play. I just feel like tonight they didn't get there quite enough.
Sure.
Second quarter was awesome, but they got to do that more consistently.
Yeah, got to do it in the fourth, too.
We also talked to him about the landscape of the East out of the gate, you know, where he sees the Bulls in that picture, because he, you know, turned some heads before the season even started. I don't know if we were playing preseason games yet, but he was on the All-NBA pod with our guy Adam Mars and saying, like, the Bulls, with as open as the East looks, I wouldn't be shocked if they snagged that, you know, 6th seed. It's possible.
We talked about Modest as well.
We did also talk about Modest.
So, yeah, we got into all that stuff.
Great stuff, and that'll be a regular occurrence with Legs throughout the season. Chat with him every other week, a few times a month. Busy man, but awesome that he shares some of his time and beautiful NBA knowledge with us. Go check it out. With that, we'll wrap up for tonight. Let's everybody get some sleep because we got a noon Bears kickoff tomorrow.
Bears.
CHGO Bears pregame. CHGO Bears tailgate because they're back at home. Good luck in that weather.
They're going to represent Bear fans, baby.
Bless the hearts of any Bears fans who brave that tailgate and or that game tomorrow. Let's hope for the best weather-wise.
Let's go.
Either
hope for
way,
the win, too.
Tune in CHGO Sports YouTube channel, CHGO Bears pregame, CHGO Bears postgame, the whole shebang. We'll be here. We are off tomorrow, and then we'll be back Monday for Bulls Spurs. Back home to face Wemby. Yikes. Until then, read Goat's stuff, allchgo.com. Become a diehard so you can read all of it, the very best of it. Instant reactions already up right now on the site and free for all to read. But you want to be a diehard so you can read all the Goat stuff. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb, Big Day Bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out to our guy, Sean Anderson on the controls. Post game number 2. 0 broken TVs.
Yeah.
At least we got one W tonight.
We got it in there.
Thanks for the love and the likes in the chat. Bulls Nation, appreciate you. We'll try again on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you, Red. Be good.
Love y'all, man.
We all silly like the mayor.